Okay. Yo, what's up, guys? Terrell here to bring you Skit Dance episode 57 review. Skit Dance, what's so awesome? I'm a little out of it purely because I have a headache. Not totally sure. I took Tylenol. We'll see where it goes. But if I'm not as high strung in this review, that's why. So surprisingly, I didn't realize this because as I said, I knew there were chapters called You Got Mail, but I didn't know what they were about. Apparently, it's another Bosu and Himiko type deal, which I think they intentionally saved all the romance-ish episodes purely just because of Sai's introduction, just kind of to start the little fan war which is going on probably between Bosu x Saya and Bosu x Himiko, because Saya has a crush on him, and that's probably why they waited so long to put these episodes out. I don't know which part of this episode is actually filler. I know the Saya part is obviously... Saya Nagata is obviously filler because Saya isn't in these chapters. I don't know this is after Koma's introduction purely because I don't know what chapter Koma's introduced. I'm thinking Koma's introduced After School Rhapsody, in which case You Got Mail doesn't really make any sense. Which is how I think it's supposed to go. I'm not sure which part of it. I'm thinking either One-san or Koma is filler. I can't figure out which though, because they both have their soft points. But this episode was damn near hilarious. I laughed so fucking hard. The whole premise of the episode, and surprisingly, it's just a one episode thing, mainly because You Got Mail is actually like a 2 or 3 chapter arc in the manga, so they didn't have to stretch anything out. They just fucking used all the chapters of You Got Mail. That's why You Got Mail is only one episode. Essentially, this is what happens. Shinzo and Sai are chilling in the club room that at the beginning of the episode after One-san was in there doing like history lesson stuff, which was kind of random, but whatever. And then like after she left, you had just Shinzo and Sai chilling in there. And Shinzo, obviously him and Boston are going back and forth with the "why the hell are you using a cell phone? You're supposed to be a fucking samurai" joke, which I still find funny as hell. And they're kind of just going back and forth, and then it's like he's talking to some online pen pal friend whose nickname is Pudding-san, and like what it is like they take the whole thing from One-san at the beginning of the episode, and it's just like, well, I need help learning this. So Boston decides to help her under his name, under like a free email address, but he named himself Samurai-san for kind of relating back to Shinzo. And really the whole episode is that he ends up getting addicted to phone mail, like email, text through his phone. And consequently, we learn like almost halfway into the episode, that Himiko is in a similar situation with Koma, where like Koma, which I'm glad to see her again. I want to see more of the Sengoku joke aspect of her, because that was like the one thing they didn't really push. I do like the and what I don't understand is like it's like Koma was originally texting Shinzo. So my question is, why did those two kind of just like leave their emails wide open at the end of it? Or was that not like their original emails or something? I also thought it was funny that he was like, so should I text back like this? It's like, no. Only a noob would text back with their email. You only experienced people should text back, you know, with potential pen pal friends with their emails. You need to go get a free email address and do it that way. And like Sai and Boston are just like, are you really a freaking samurai? Like, I thought that was funny. The thing with Koma was that Koma obviously is very nervous around guys, and I guess she was texting Shinzo. I'm not 100% sure how this was supposed to work. Apparently, like, they were just meeting random friends on like a random chatting site, like at the Sengoku website. And he ran into, I guess, Pudding-san and Samurai-san ran into each other. For some reason, though, like, Himiko was helping Koma text back, and then for some reason, Koma just, like, drifted out of the equation. So what the episode turns into, instead of Shinzo and Koma texting each other, it turns into Boston and Himiko texting each other under different aliases, and, like, them trying to meet each other in real life, not realizing that it's Himiko and Boston that they're talking to. And it's like one of the funniest fucking things. I think the first funny part was like, Boston tried to act like he wasn't interested, and he kept contradicting himself the entire time. This also is kind of interesting because this is like the first time we've ever seen Boston legitimately show interest in wanting to get a girlfriend. Because most of the time, you know, like a typical Shonen Jump hero, he doesn't really act like he cares about girls that much. I mean, in terms of dating. Like, we've seen him in awkward dating situations, but never, like, in the point where he was, like, crushing on her. Like, he's totally crushing on Pudding-san the entirety of the fucking, episode, which was hilarious, especially when they figured out who it was. The other thing I thought was hilarious is when they were going back and forth, him and Himiko were like going back and forth, obviously not knowing who it was, and they were asking each other about their names, and like, fucking Himiko asks like, why do you call yourself Samurai-san? He gives like a bullshit, jokey kind of answer, and it was hilarious. And then he's like, well, why do you call yourself Pudding-san? And it was like, Himiko bullshitted the fuck out of this answer that made Basu lose his fucking mind. This is like the most perverted I've seen Basu. She was like, well, people say that my body undulates like pudding, so, and I hate the nickname, but I figured I'd use it for this anyway. And Basu was like, wait a minute, your body undulates like pudding. And he got like this random picture in his mind of like this really sexual, attractive girl with like glasses. And then when she explained, Himiko lied about a lot of shit in hers. Like she kind of underplayed her own personality and like beefed up. Like she essentially took like Koma's physical persona and then just kind of like mixed herself into it. So like when Boston had the image in his head, it literally looked like a nerdy, hot, like it looked like Koma honestly, but like with longer hair, glasses, and a little bit more tsundere. Like it was hilarious. Also, I think that picture was hot. Just as a side note, I also love the fucking image. And this is another stab at American white women joke, where she was like, I don't want him, when she was trying to figure out how to describe herself, she got like this picture in her head of like this stereotypical white American woman with giant breasts and like a swimsuit and like the blonde hair and everything. I was like, you were fucked up for that. But it's just, and then the Switch comedy in the middle of the episode where like, Switch has already noticed it, but he never outright says that he realizes it, but he just like randomly throws out hints that you can tell. Like for example, him, Basun, and Himiko are in the club room, and like Himiko and Basun are texting each other, and for some reason they don't realize that their shit is going off every time they send a message. So they're still not aware that it's each one of them, you know, it's that they're the guy or girl that they're talking to. And Switch has like these random turning head sequences that was hilarious. And then he like on top of that throws out a hint. He's the reason why they ended up wanting to meet. He throws out a hint like, oh, I'm leaving early for today. It's like, why are you leaving so early? I'm gonna go meet a pen pal that I made over the internet. It's like, well, huh? What? It's like, yeah, isn't that natural? The only one to meet the pen pal that you've been talking to for a while? And he put the idea in their heads, and that's what made them meet. And the shit that Himiko does when they get to this whole... There's a huge comedy scene based around the whole waiting for them to realize that because they end up running to each other in the same spot, obviously, because they don't realize that each one of them is the guy or girl that they're looking for. And there's like these long, drawn-out scenes. But what made it even more ridiculous is that Himiko dyed her hair black. Because she lied and said that as Pudding-san, she said that her hair was black. So Himiko actually went out of her way to dye her hair black. Which I want to say is for the sake of comedy, but at the same time I also want to say it's because technically her natural hair color is black, as we know from her backstory. And I think that was like the way of like showing, that was kind of like a fan related thing where it's like, well, I know a lot of people want to see Himiko with black hair. Let's just make up this random occurrence where she actually dyes her hair black. Honestly, a lot of people think she looks good with it. I personally like blonde hair Himiko. I think my two favorites, because it's like, I don't know what it is, but like current Himiko in terms of hairstyles is like a mixture of like original Himiko and like the beginning of Kame High School Himiko, where like old school Himiko has like the short cut up hair but it's black, whereas the fucking beginning of Kame High School Himiko has like the long blonde hair. I feel like her current hairstyle, the blonde cut hair, is a mix between the two. She's still rocking the blonde, but she's cut her hair like it used to be in middle school. That's what I like. her having black hair just looks really fucking weird to me. And maybe that's just me. I'm just curious, was that just me? Because me personally, it was like that. And then they threw in another Saya scene where we actually got to see like Saya incidentally walking with Agatha and noticing that they're both there, thinking that they're on a date. And there's like these random comedy scenes where like Saya is not paying attention, just watching Himiko and Boston from like restaurant windows and shit. And Agatha's like, are you sure you want this one? Because she's just randomly pointing, she's not looking. And it's like this big ass ice cream, and then she only like eats like maybe a third of it, and then Agatha's just sitting there going, and then like when everything's said and done, she's like, wow, you were really hungry, weren't you, bro? It was really funny. I thought it was damn near hilarious. This was actually probably funnier than last week's episode, just because it's an indirect Himiko Boston episode. Because when I first saw the preview for it, I didn't expect this to be a Himiko Boston episode. I thought this was going to be like a serious arc because it's like 3 fucking chapters in the manga, 2 or 3 chapters. So I thought it was weird. I didn't think it was a Boston Himiko kind of thing. Either way, I don't have a problem with it because it was awesome. I'm also going to link the link for the preview for Sket Dance because they didn't show it, which kind of makes you think it's a serious episode, but it's not. The preview is like Boston wearing a fat suit and then like Boston becoming invisible, which makes me go, what is up with all the Boston themed episodes we've had? Like, literally, we've had like a shit ton of Boston related shit. And I understand we just got out of his backstory, but I'm like, you know, Himiko hasn't had any like singular episodes where it's just focused on Himiko. I mean, we got Switch, like, you know, we got Switches last week, and you know, we've been getting like the Boston Chew Experiments one, which is what I'm guessing the Invisible Man thing is. I wonder how cliche the Invisible Man episode is going to be, but you know, that's the next episode for next week is literally him wearing a fat suit and him becoming invisible, which I don't understand the fat suit one at all. I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to be stemming from. The invisible one is obviously a Chusan joke with the soda again, which I think is a little bit too soon because we just saw an episode like that maybe like, what, 2 episodes ago? I think it's a little bit too soon for that. I don't know, that's just me. But I thought this episode was funny as hell. I enjoyed the shit out of it. Fucking misunderstandings for the win. I think the title of this review is probably going to be Samurais and Pudding. And like, it made me laugh so hard. You know, I like my Boston. Oh yeah, I guess I should mention what happens at the end when they do figure out it's each other. Because what happens is like, as I said, Boston's like, this is the perfect you'll see Boston. He sees a girl that looks like the girl from his fantasy, and he tries to run up to her thinking that she's Pudding-san, and Himiko overhears him call her Pudding-san. And she's like, get away from me. And she actually slaps Boston. And she's like, but you look exactly like Pudding-san from my fantasies. And I was like, Boston, you fucking up, man. And when they both figure out who it is, what do? They cut to a scene back into the fucking club room where they're both dicking around with deleting all the fucking texts, the email/text messages they've been sending each other. And then the fucking episode ends, and I was just like, oh my god, it's hilarious because it kind of goes back to further prove Switch's point that they're like beyond friends, but they're beneath lovers. It's just like they're in this like bullshit state. It's kind of like a Naruto Sasuke thing. They're not really friends, but they're not really gay. They're somewhere in between. It's a bond. Ha ha ha. I'm sorry. I hate that term bond now. I think Naruto's made me hate that word. I hate bond, which is funny because I just finished watching like 2 episodes in a row. We're getting to my Moe and side fight. Kankuro going in. That's a side note of Naruto. That's one of the few times I actually do that. But anyways, what did you guys think about this episode? Thoughts and comments in the comment section below. I should be uploading this with like an anime manga update thing. I'm probably going to upload this first though because I know the other one is going to like be oversaturated as all fuck. But I don't know how long I'm recording, so I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Links to watch Sket Dance on Crunchyroll in the description. The preview for next week's episode, and I think the link to my main channel is in the comment description. So, Follow us in comments in the comment section below. Life's a game. No. This has been the Vlogs Game from your boy Terrell. Scared Jets, what's so awesome? And I'll catch you guys later. Peace.